Alrighty. Good morning, good morning. Looking like a slow start. What a lovely way to start the week. As actual gappers go, this is like all we've really had. Good morning, Flip Flop. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything too impressive out of the gate. We do have Aton, at least. This is at least getting something coming in. It could just be over suppressed here because this has been quite in a downtrend. Only shorted ENLV so far at $1.05. Yeah, this is looking a little interesting. It did have news too. Let's see here. I mean, this actually does have quite a bit of room to run. Right, 410, also 360. We're at 360, so we're at one of the resistances. Okay, volume is still inflowing. This has a very, well, not a super low float, but it's there. This is more of just maybe a short squeeze kind of oversold kind of play. I mean, historically... Oh, is this a newer company? Okay, so this company actually hasn't been on the market too long, right? Like yearly, it hasn't done much yet. It's been here since September. Okay, significant volume inflow here during this breakout. I actually kind of like this volume. I'm actually going to get in here, 402, look for a little hold at 4. I really like this volume. Yeah, but it's struggling at around 415. Can we re-break 415 and actually break through this time? Yeah, it struggled again. There's someone selling at 415. It's tested it 3 times. I gotta sell half if we get there again. $400,000, and it tested 3 times there. Okay, we're pushing through again towards it. I keep trying to sell half at this break at around 410, and it just keeps immediately pulling back. Alright, we're finally out for that half. Oh, yeah, okay. So I'm holding the other half. This has a lot of... Okay, we did get it. Cool. This had a lot of instances where it kept trying to break 415, and you can see here, 3 times I tried to sell on this pop. Not only did I knock it out, but the price dropped so quickly, I was getting like 406 potential targets. Good morning, Mr. Football Master. Okay. I'm still glad I kept that half size, though. That really let me capture the second part of this move. But yeah, this oversold profile on the daily, combined with this extremely good inflow of volume, right? Volume was increasing as we were going higher. Looked very strong. Glad it worked out. I will... So the only real question would be, should I have cut the trade during these 2 minutes? Because we saw it test 415 3 times, and we popped back down below 4. Right, so at one point I was down around like 15, 20 bucks at worst. And I was fairly high up. I was really only holding because of my conviction of the daily and this high volume. I mean, it worked out, so I can't be that hard on myself. But that was a fairly aggressive play by me. Yeah, like barely any prep. I honestly think it was an A quality though. The volume and the daily just looked really strong. Utility, probably a 7. So you shorted at about the same place I bought. I don't know. I'm a little hesitant to short something like this just because this is shorter. Unless this is like a merger or something. But this looks quite oversold. Keep forgetting my face is in the way. Yeah, this looks quite oversold on the daily. And this is a newer stock. So it actually bouncing and recovering here doesn't seem too crazy to me. I'm curious how this first pullback's going to go. We might have a second leg. Or not, right? We did struggle 3 times at 415. And then when we did break, it was kind of like a giant hammer candle. And on top of that, remember, I had several instances where I was trying to sell for half profit. It was immediately pushing back. So there was definitely a lot of selling pressure around 415. Good morning. Nice trade on Aton. Let's go. Right? I mean, it's a good way to start the week, if I do say so. First 2 minutes, first 4 minutes. Yeah, I still feel fairly bullish on this, but I'm a little concerned at how hard it struggled to break 415. And we're seeing these kind of like topping tails. You can't really tell it here, but the fact that it was pushing this 3 times, and then when it finally broke the 4th time, it rejected. Slightly bearish. Someone was definitely selling here. But this still looks really strong volume-wise. I'm just slightly less confident with a pullback at this point. Nice to actually see something moving more than 3 cents a minute. Okay. So we really haven't even had a 5-minute pullback here at all. Shorted some more at 450. Yeah, how are we looking for resistance on daily? So I had already marked out, we had clear resistance here around this 410. So that could be part of why we were struggling here. Probably next is 450. And then probably after that, like, honestly, probably just 5. Probably going by 50-cent increments at this point. Let's see. This is a pretty weak sell-off here. It reversed well. The stock seems very jumpy. It does things, then immediately reverses. Right, it does spikes up, then immediately flushes. It's done multiple fake outs here, and then immediately reversed. I think I might just wait, though. I really feel like I want a more proper pullback. This one was very short-lived pullback. I mean, to be fair, my trade was actually more of a micro pullback, but it just looks so strong. I thought the odds of it resolving were so good. Yeah, I think I need to do half size now. This thing's ranging 40 cents a minute. I think I need to reduce size. Just gonna do half size going forward. So we had a new 1-minute low, but it was just a quick break and recapture again. Yeah, I think I want an actual pullback before I go long on this. If it's just gonna break out here. Average is 429. See if it can get some more short at 520. Come on, let's go. I mean, you're crazy for going short and wanting it to go to 520. I mean, we'll see. The thing is like, this kind of scenario we have with this stock, I don't think it's super ridiculous for this to go up more. Right, it's sold off historically on the daily chart. It's sold off quite a bit, but it feels like it may have been overdone, unless the company just actually sucks, right? I'm just going off because it's a newish IPO / merger. Yeah, it's really consolidating here. The argument for it breaking out here actually goes up a bit now because it's held here so long. If someone was shorting or trying to cover, they're just not getting a pullback to cover. I'm still a bit afraid to go long here, though. I'd be buying right at the highs. Very high volume on this breakout candle. We'll see if we reverse here. A bit of a pause in the volume. Small green on Aton, good way to start the week, guys. Yeah, no, I mean, I was able to get a small green on it. I don't know about you guys, but this has definitely shown some promise. I'm certainly still interested in it. CJET also popping up. All right, good volume. We do have, looks like news that came out just now. Okay, so this stock's actually been really, really beat up. Holy crap, this thing was 150 just like 3 months ago. So this stock's been smashed into the ground. Extremely low float. Less than 1 million. This is very similar setup where it's just been beaten up. We've had news, and maybe Aton could spark this. Aton also sold off a lot, which makes me think people are actually coming here. I'm actually going to trust my gut on that. Aton sold off right as this news broke out. It's possible a lot of people are pivoting here right now. I'm only doing half size, though, because this is going to be a volatile move if it spikes. Let's see if we get something. I'm looking for 280, 290. Okay, 60, 70. It went up to 276, so I nearly hit target immediately. Yeah, Aton sold off hard. I think people pivoted to this. Whether it holds or not, I don't know. But I think people pivoted here. 60. I'm still looking for 280, 290. Tried to sell half there at 74. was a moderate sized sell order on the bid or on the ask. Still there. So this is a quick flush down. We might be done. Try and add half here. My thinking is a lot of people clearly pivoted right as the stock came off. Aton sold off hard. And we pushed off quite a bit here from these levels. Do kind of keep in mind, too, this is an extremely low float. I'm actually going to try and take half off. Just reduce size a little bit. Yeah, 100 share exposure here. Maybe a little overexposed given the low float. A little bit more ambitious than normal. Still looking for like 260 to sell half. I'm actually going to just manually put it just because we saw these spikes and then immediate curls back. Oh, did you actually go to 62? Oh my god, dude. All right, sold half, holding the rest here. Still 25 shares. All right, we're all out. Cool, a nice volume surge here. So, I thought this may have been a fake out sell-off. And the reason was because we saw such a hard pivot on Aton to this stock, and Aton did really well. This had a lower float. It had the same kind of daily setup where it's been beaten down. And I thought this had the chance to curl. Unfortunately, I really just wanted this to resolve. So whenever I saw it come down here, I thought the odds of a curl were pretty high, which is why I was willing to add. But I was a little bit too pessimistic after this initial pullback, so I was starting to scale out sooner. Right, I took 50 shares off at 36. What could have been a really, really good trade just kind of turned it into an okay trade. Still very green, so I can't complain. But this kind of pullback messed with me a little bit. Made my conviction shake a little. Because if you remember, this is where I was initially wanting to sell. And, I mean, for me to start taking off at 36 out of fear of this rolling over, it's, yeah. Very nice, though. We've seen two stocks make 50% moves. This is a big shift from last week, at least so far. Honestly, it was probably A quality again. Good volume. You're short CJET at 280? Yeah, this was my initial sell point. As far as daily resistance, I mean, you could kind of argue this is resistance, but it doesn't seem super obvious. I'm more thinking about like 340 as a clear resistance. To be fair, we did actually go up there, right? This is pretty close to 340. So this first initial pullback is clearly a level to watch. 280 is actually kind of surprising it rejected here. Not surprising it held here at 220 though, right? That's right at this area. So that's not surprising. Honestly, if I had seen this support as it curled back here, this would have been a much safer entry in hindsight. Good morning, Trayton A-ton, but got chopped up. Found the price action difficult to read, a lot of selling. Yeah, Benjamin, I was trading it too, and I noticed, I called this out earlier, back when we were over here, because this is where I took my trade on it, whenever I bought it 402, I noticed 3 times it was hitting 415 and then immediately selling. Because like you can see, I tried to put sell orders in to take profit at around 415, and not only was I not getting filled, but the order was dropping so quickly, my order was getting adjusted to like 406, 409. And then when it finally did do this spike, it immediately retraced it. So that kind of made me not want to touch it anymore. Wait for a more proper pullback, and then we just didn't get it. Yeah, A-ton was definitely a little more... There was someone clearly pushing it down multiple times. But yeah, very good start. Very good start for this week for me. 2 trades, both fairly green. Yeah, we're at the half hour. We'll see if we get any news. Since both stocks that popped on news did well, I would anticipate if the next stock that pops has even decent news, there's a chance it doesn't move. At least the chance is higher. Yeah, just had to hold your nerves. Yeah. I mean, given the cold, how cold the market's been the last few weeks too, even though these 2 stocks held up, it's hard. It's really hard to keep that conviction. Even though I've seen really good signs on both these stocks. The volume to price action has been exceptional. But just in the back of my head, I'm like, well, but it's been cold. But it's been cold. Like even on this, I was in here during this pullback, and I ended up taking half off here just because I thought the odds it rolled over weren't... Well, here's the problem too. I sold half here, but I genuinely thought there was a high chance this was breaking out. And it did break out. So I guess you could say my fear caused me to sell half early here, to kind of just lock in a little bit. I don't know. It's very difficult to gauge that kind of thing. But we'll just have to see how things go. Take today as more of an analysis day, see if we get any kind of real pivot, because this is a great start. Good morning, Captain. Let's see. Although on PNT from last week, Ali, thoughts on PNT from last week. Strange price action. I'm holding long up 40%. I mean, I'll check it out. Let's see. UTM. Oh yeah. Let me look at it here. It's a little weird. My immediate concern is just kind of the gapping on this very, very low volume, right? Like, what is the float on this thing? It's a little over 1 million, it says on Thinkorswim. It says 9 million here. What is this company? Also, look at the daily. So this is a newer company. This could be a pump and dump scam. Let's see. Carlson. Oh no. Founded or headquartered in New Jersey. I don't like this daily setup. It looks like this is very, very common for pump and dumps, and you're seeing very low volume on this spike from 15 to 24, right? Like 3,000 shares of volume each candle. To me, this looks very pump and dumpy. I personally would say if you're up 40%, I personally would be taking profits immediately. I would not trust this to hold. I've seen pump and dumps like this where it'll just slowly go up. It's just what I would do. You do you. But I would be very, very skeptical to hold this. Yeah, there's not even any news for it either. It's just kind of creeped up on no news. So CJet's just been kind of churning. We haven't had anything else hit the scanners for the half hour, it looks like. Thank you as always. Didn't have enough conviction in CJet. Well, let me show you this, because this is why my conviction shifted so hard. So we had a ton. And right here at 718 on the dot, we had this start to sell off hard. So because Aton did so well, and the moment CJet came out with news, Aton sold off, that told me everyone pivoted here. That's why I had higher conviction this would resolve. And I mean, to be fair, it hasn't resolved as well as I would have liked. But that's why my conviction was so much higher. Yeah, Piton, large spreads. If you wanted to sell, you'd struggle. But not only that, but just, again, the volume being only 3,000, and over the course of 10,000 volume, the price goes up like 50 or 60%. That's extremely dangerous. You're talking about very big rug pull territory. I don't know what to make of this, though, too, because we've had this kind of wedge pattern. I might sit this one out. Just kind of let it see what it wants to do. Right, because we're clearly hitting a critical break or bail point. What does the spread look like? Yeah, it's... Well, I mean, on this, it's saying it's a 65-cent spread. And if I'm being honest, considering how volatile this has been, this is actually a much tighter spread than I would have expected. Given that 3,000 shares can move it like $4. Okay, so Aton's also continuing to sell off here. Right, we had an attempted curl and it failed. 415 to 360s. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm losing a little bit of conviction and follow through here. It feels like momentum could be dying down. I'm still interested in any kind of dead cat bounce setup, but I'm a little less inclined to take for the breakouts. Spreads literally tightened as we were speaking. Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I didn't see it at the time. Yeah, if it was a three-point spread, that actually seems much more reasonable given the low volume. Yeah, I think I'm just sitting tight here now. It was $22, $24. Okay. Yeah, that seems more reasonable. So we're really consolidating hard on Aton. Like I said, I think it's too dangerous for me to try and buy here. But I'm really curious that if this breaks out, how hard does it break out? Because that's really going to tell us if there's momentum or not. But we need it to break out first, before that can even happen. Also worth noting, we have a slight downtrend these last 5 minutes on volume. This candle looks like it's breaking that trend. Yeah, it's only 20 seconds in. This candle's going to break this trend of descending volume. Right, and keep in mind too, the float is extremely low on this, right? We've got less than 1 million shares of volume of shares outstanding. And the fact we're getting almost 150,000 a minute, that's extremely substantial, right? We're having significant float rotation occur here. And for a stock that's this beaten up on the daily, yeah, there's still a very realistic chance this curls. Okay, volume is continuing to go up a little bit here. Very big volume inflow here. Had a reverse split on November 3rd. Yeah, I mean, you look at the daily, it's pretty obvious they've been reverse splitting, right? I mean, just a couple months ago, it was $200. So, yeah, this stock is definitely one that sells off quite hard. Heck, even a month ago, this thing was like 16, 17 bucks. See, this is definitely a death spiral stock, no question about that. My only thought is just because we have had instances where it's popped like this with spikes. And because we're having such a low float under 100,000 or under a million, there's definitely room for a squeeze. CJET covered at 245. So only made 35 cents on that one because it felt like it may surprise us and break up. Yeah, I do, like, I know this is pulled back and the volume's higher. I'm still like 50-50 on if this is moving, but I genuinely think if this does break, we do have really big room. We have room to $4. It is, might sound crazy to say that, but I don't think that's off the table. Although with this last breakdown on higher volume, I'm a little less optimistic of a move like that. But at least when it was curling like this, that was my thought. If this breaks out, we have room to 354. Somewhere in this range. But yeah, I'm mostly just watching right now because I'm not seeing anything that's giving me high conviction at the moment. For those of you watching, if you're enjoying the stream, I would appreciate it if you left a like. It helps me out, helps me get the video out to more people, and I would appreciate it. Looks like Aton and CJET are breaking down, waiting for news now. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. It feels like the momentum has died down a little bit. Aton's pulled back quite a bit. Right? This is a pretty big pullback, around 50%. I wouldn't rule this as dead yet, but it's very questionable if the move's over now for Aton. CJET, somewhat similar situation. I'm a little bit less inclined to say it's dead yet, but it's clearly questioning whether it's going to hold up now. It's gotten so thickly traded, geez. Which is very strange, right? For a stock that has under a million and it's trading so high volume and sideways like this, very interesting. Put it lightly. I see some of you left a like. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm just watching CJET and Aton, and honestly, unless they make very big moves to get me reinterested, I'm probably just waiting for breaking news. Yeah. I guess I should be thankful that I at least captured some of these moves. Regardless of how today ends up playing out, I think we can at least conclude that the market temperature today was a little bit warmer. 250% moves that resolved somewhat well. Aton was honestly very well, right? It kept curling higher and higher. So definitely a better day, but still not, right? We're not seeing multiple legs. Aton kind of just had that slow grind, and it was choppy too, right? So even though Aton did technically make a leg higher, this was extremely choppy. So it wasn't clean. You basically had to take the more aggressive entry that I did here. I mean, you could have tried here too, but the volume was so light back here. I say so light. This is actually 100,000. So maybe if you saw the volume, you could have considered entering here. Right, that would have been really good resolution too. It's like a 50-cent move. Yeah, Aton could curl at some point. It's showing indecision now. CJET has another stair step down. All you have left is short on ENLV. Short from 105 before 7 a.m. Ooh, I see it's kind of popped back up for you too. But yeah, we have 10 minutes till the top of the hour. Sitting tight, being patient. The funniest thing too is I only took 2 trades on all of Friday, so even though I've only taken 2 trades, I'm still on pace to take more trades than yesterday or Friday, which is quite funny. Yeah, Aton does look like it could be curling. I mean, you can see how even though we did have this flush at these levels, the fact it hasn't really continued to accelerate. We're seeing it consolidate now. I'm still not super sold on it. But at least it's showing some signs that it could be living. I personally don't believe it enough. As for ENLV, if you're talking about that, this one's also curling. This is a bit too cheap for me to get involved with, though. What is the float? Because I haven't even seen this one. Didn't show up on my scanners. Yeah, it's a bit higher float. Did have a very big spike back here. And then it sold off super hard. Probably dilution. Ooh, CJET with the surprise rip. Oh, ooh, look at that volume. Okay. Also, Aton at this exact moment has sold off again, further implying that people are looking at both. If CJET surges, Aton sells off. We've seen this pattern multiple times now. So we ripped past this resistance. My suspicion is people were covering here. Okay. All right. That's what we want to see. I'm curious how it responds from here. Do we just end up just rolling back over, or do we actually hold above this resistance? What is that? That's a 50-cent squeeze. Very powerful squeeze. Almost the entire float rotated there too. Right? 600,000. So we broke 3 by how much? Broke $3 by 3 cents. Also, you'll start shorting around 350 point. If we can get there, fingers crossed. Yeah, I said it before. $3.50 to $4 is, given the circumstances of this stock, it was possible. I did think once we were not breaking out here, that percentage chance dropped significantly. But very interesting to see that despite these, right, because we had multiple. We had this volume candle. Then we had this one as well. Have big spikes down, but then a bigger spike up. So this is very interesting to see. We'll see. The fact that we didn't have a clean break here and someone tried pushing it down to make it look bad makes me worried that someone's doing sleight of hand tricks. So I'm a little bit cautious to just jump in here. We also saw that the $3 break was a fake out. It only broke by a couple pennies. We're seeing a somewhat big seller here. 40,000 share seller. I don't know. ENLV is actually spiking up. It spiked back above $1. Still watching CJET for now. But ENLV did approach high of day. So we saw this break of $3 by a couple pennies, and it's rolled over 25 cents. Now it's back to trading like crap again. Someone must have covered a big position. Yeah, that's... I thought this was a cover. Someone was trying to push it down. You could see these volume candles here. And then this big volume candle. That tells me that it's likely covering. ENLV did spike. We're back above high of day on it. It's possible people might rotate out of this into ENLV. Right, very significant volume coming into this thing. If people were shorting around here and holding through this, there could be people getting stuck covering here. Okay, no, they actually have news that came out. Okay, so this actually had news driving it. It wasn't random. So $212 million private placement. How many shares does this have? It was 20 million or something? Yeah. So float's a bit higher. And the price is a bit lower. I'm iffy if I should really engage with this. It's not really within my criteria. You're reshorted now at 116. Yeah, on the daily, there's clear resistance around 120 here. We did break 120. We're coming up on the top of the hour too. So if news comes out, that might shake things up and cause people to bail out of these stocks. So I think I need to sit tight for the 8 a.m. news. Yeah, fighting for pennies on ENLV, that's... Well, not only is it a penny stock, but the float's really high too. So the range is very restricted. Like, I don't... Like, the odds of this thing going to, like, 150 are very low. Just for example. Not touching it. Honestly, I shouldn't touch it either. If this was a... If this either was a low float or a higher price, then I could justify touching it. It's a low float and... Or it's a high float and a low price. I feel like that's too much for me to, like, try and engage here. I think I'm just waiting for the top of the hour. We think alike, huh? Well, I mean, yeah, it's natural, right? This is a lower opportunity, right? It's much more difficult to capture the range. And not only that, you're crossing the spread to buy and sell, so you're already taking a loss on that. You basically have to get a big move. And this is just not... This looks like an impressive move, but it only went up 25 cents. Okay, so A10's still selling off. Right, we've just been in a clear downtrend. CJET, after its initial spike, it seems like it's struggling a bit. Looks like a green day so far for you. Happy to see that. I appreciate it, Quantex. Yeah, we had some really good early trades on A-Ton and CJET. Got some good results from them. Only 2 trades, both of them green. CJET continuing to sell off a bit here. Very, very weird to see a spike like this into just a complete rollover. I mean, the only thing that I could think is like what we were speculating earlier about short covering. That would be the only reason for interest to die immediately after this spike, would be if someone just covered and they were out. Right, because we've almost given back the entire move. So we had like a false 1 minute high here on this curl, right? From 86 down to 50. So only 36-cent drop. That's actually not that catastrophic. ENLV still grinding higher. I don't think I'm interested in it though. I'm surprised how much of a move it's made, but I don't think I'm interested in it. And you had a bit of a curl or pullback here. Nice resolution on higher volume. So whoever bought, or whenever they got this, they paid 212 million, 100 million, and their average price for this was $1. So they were acquiring this for $1. So it makes sense that on this news coming out, that this spikes immediately from $1, because they're not going to sell $1 because that's where they got in at. So this spike does make sense. Yeah, I guess we just don't have news at 8. Not seeing anything else yet. I mean, we have DFLI moving, but it's a penny stock, so I'm not really interested in that. ATON continuing to sell off, giving back everything. So while this was a great pump, the fact that it's not holding at all is a little bit concerning. This is gonna make short sellers look at this and say, the next time we see a 50% spike, short it. NLV. Yeah. I just can't touch this one. CJET, a little bit of a bounce here. We'll see if it holds up. Super annoying to be short something on crappy news, and then an hour later they pull out big news and it respikes. Yeah. Very interesting how that timing worked out. I wonder if it was actually a coincidence or if it was planned. Dude, the first spike to make people go short. Second spike forces them to cover. Well, I mean, I don't know if you covered, but like, I would not be surprised if some shorts covered. CJet's turning into a lot of fake outs, right? Had this fake out, this one. We had this fake out, because all of them just ended up reversing. So this has actually been quite difficult to actually read. And the volume relative to the float is still quite good. I don't actually know how dead this one actually is. This doesn't feel dead to me. Like I became quite bearish on this selling pressure and this sell-off, but we're still grinding higher. Covered for now for break even. Was 116, then added to short. The short at 135. Now just cut the whole thing at 121 even. Really tricked me. I mean, hey, if you were like partially in that spike and you've managed to get break even, to me that's good. Yeah, this thing is still grinding higher. It's probably going to go on people's radars too as we approach this high here. Volume's increasing much too. Very curious. I still think CJet is the best contender we have at the moment. My conviction's a little shook on it, though. If I do trade it, it's probably going to be half size. And I might just need to accept that this thing can get a bit more whiplashy, which isn't really what I would want to see. Like, high-day breaks are probably very risky here. Okay, so we're retesting 3. Recall that on this 1-minute curl here at 303, we had a rejection. Let's see how it responds here. Volume is still increasing. 303 is the clear area to watch. We've seen it kind of reject slightly off of it twice now. This closes red. That kind of reinforces the 303 being resistance. Is there anything daily-wise that supports this? I mean, not really. It just could be the case that that's where someone is selling. Good morning, Gabino. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're doing well. So we've had multiple pop attempts, but they've all been topping tails. But on the flip side, these candles are very consolidated. They aren't ranging very much. So I'm not sure how relevant the topping tail thing actually is here. Rejection at 303 again, starting to break out of a wedge 2. Yeah, that's what I was saying about over here. That was failing. But this isn't as brutal, I think. Volume has decreased slightly, but it's still a little bit more elevated than I would have liked. Part of me just really feels like a massive inflow of volume is going to come soon. I don't know why, I have that feeling. I mean, this is definitely an inflow of volume. But I was thinking something more similar to this one. So we had a false 1 minute high here, right? Went to about 3. We pushed down to 275, so 25-cent drop here. Want it to fail, so attention can shift at 8:30. Yeah, that's the problem, because if this thing is retesting 303 right at 8:30, that can be very problematic. We saw the clear shift with Aton, right? Aton failed at exactly the time when CJet spiked. It's very clear that the shift happened right when CJet hit news. So, like, in my opinion, either CJet or ENLV are probably the main watchers for most people. So, if we see CJet curled, I'm really worried 8:30 could draw attention away. We've already seen it with Aton. So we're going on 7 minutes of red candles now. So clear selling. But it feels controlled. China rigger CJet. Yeah, that's always a thing too. China. Yeah, my conviction here is not super high. I do see a world where we go back to 3 and we break 3. The volume's definitely high enough, and we've already seen interest because of this spike. But I'm really afraid to I'm really just afraid to punch anything here. I would really much rather see us break 3, go to like 340, 350, do a 1-minute pullback, then look to get in. To me, that would be much cleaner than trying to time it here when this has had a history of being choppy. That's my big worry right now. And you still have ENLV holding up pretty well too, so that may be diverting some eyes away from this stock. Yeah, I called the shift when CJ hit the scanners, yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, like, this initial chop really ruined the return. This could have been like a $25 winner too, but yeah, this chop messed me up. Still green on it, so I'm happy that I could at least capture something, but not as good as it could have been. All right, we got 10 minutes till a half hour. Just sitting tight, waiting for an opportunity. You know, while today started off very exciting, we've kind of not really had a lot of stocks, right? Really just Aton, CJET, and ENLV. So not a lot of stocks actually moving today. But as far as the actual resolution, we've seen good resolution, right? Most of the stocks that have moved today have actually moved. We're not just seeing like 30% curl and drop. We're talking like 50% plus move. So I think that's important to recognize. Volume's dropped off quite a bit on this. Last time it did that was around here. Then we saw a spike down and then the surge. Curious if we'll see something similar here. We saw it drop off, we see the spike down. Now let's see if we see a surge here. That'd be crazy if we saw the exact same pattern repeat twice. Very interesting. This is actually somewhat representing this pattern here. The pattern's very similar. Got 5 cents on that flush below VWAP there on CJET. 266 to 271. Sold so soon. It's at 2. It's 280 now. Dang, man. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could have been... this could have been a false breakdown, certainly. Right? The volume's quite low. ENLV. Yeah, I've been watching ENLV. I've been trying not to pull it up much just because I've already told myself I'm not going to trade it. And honestly, even though this is going higher, right, the only real opportunity for a capture would have probably been here. You think about how slowly this has been grinding, right? We're getting, on average, these candles are going up like 1 penny a minute, right? Because we went from here, 330 to or 130 to 140. That's 10 candles. You're getting 1 penny a minute. That kind of exposure for that kind of return does not feel good to me. It's been a very slow grind. I'll be honest, I was looking pretty optimistic for today. I mean, I was up $40 within the first 23 minutes. I was like, heck yeah, this could be a potential for $100 day. And I've just seen nothing for the next hour that's been worth trading. Even on this spike here, right? There was no resolution. We saw the 1 minute high and it fizzled. There was just no real clean opportunity that I could see on this. Back in short at 146. I'll add slow, but yeah. She fooled me once. Maybe I'll regret it, but we'll see. It's hard to say. The private placement, it's been doing very poorly lately for News Catalyst, but it has done very well in the past. I'm kind of mixed on it. You kind of have the higher float going in your favor, at least, because it's got a lot of headwind to try and push higher. All right, so we have 1 minute left till the half hour, and we'll see if we get anything that comes out here. Private placement, but in crypto coins, not real money. I mean, I would call it real money, but like, yeah, it's kind of silly that they would get a private placement, but it's literally just for crypto. So you're kind of almost gambling on crypto to do well. I mean, at this point, if you're in a small cap stock like this and your company's just doing horribly, then you might need to take a gamble like that, I guess. But yeah, not really what you want to see. All right, we are at the half hour. We'll see if we get any actual stocks moving here. Rain token. Yeah, I don't really follow the token stuff so much, so I'm not really sure what to make of that. I just look at them as interchangeable coins, tokens. They're all crypto stuff to me. NFTs. I'm sure there's crypto people that might take offense to that. My apologies. Yeah, so CJ still mostly just kind of churning. It's still having somewhat significant moves. Like we're having 10-cent moves every now and then, but it's not really going higher at the moment. Hmm. We have GELS here. 10 million. Cheaper price. What is this for? Preclinical results. Well, it's preclinical, though. It's not the greatest. As far as beaten up goes, the stock has been somewhat beaten up. The somewhat higher float with the somewhat lower price, not the greatest combination. We're seeing good volume, though, right? 750,000. So that's good volume. I don't know if I want to pile on here at the highs, though. I mean, it's just preclinical trial, too. To me, that's not as big of a deal. We'll see if it gets anything, though. This 1 minute high will be important. Yeah, the catalyst isn't quite as strong. The price is a bit lower. Float's a bit higher. It's holding up well. Like, I mean, I gotta give it credit, right? We spiked up and we're holding up here and the volume's higher. So this does have signals of strength. I don't want to detract from that. I'm just worried that the float being a bit higher and the catalyst being a bit par, maybe even a little bit underwhelming. I'm seeing mixed signals on this thing. I'm not really super convinced with it. Yeah. So high volume on this breakdown. We didn't actually get the 1 minute high here. This could still be validated though. If we see a higher surge of volume and we go up, that would invalidate this sell-off. But I feel like that's the only thing that saves this at this point. Because this looks pretty nasty. Yeah, anyone buying at 120 for this curl higher probably is selling right now. Okay, continuing to see high volume on this doji. That's not terrible. You know, if he just made a new high, it's been making a new high. Believe me, I've been watching it. It's just grinding. It's just grinding higher. Okay, so we did finally get the 1 minute high here, but it was met with an immediate rejection. Yeah, my interest in the stock is falling a little bit. Still got good volume. We got to see that breakthrough, and we got to see that volume spike more, though. It's the only way it's valid in my eyes. I mean, I was saying ENLV was moving slow, but it's moving faster now. This is a pretty big spike. Actually, I want to switch to CJet here. So this one is also breaking down a bit. Maybe just being detracted from ENLV. And Gels. Yeah, we're seeing low volume throughout all of this. You could even start to argue dead cat bounce potential comes in. On the daily, we had 225 as support. So if we break down to like 230 and volume doesn't spike too much, I could be interested in taking a dead cat bounce here. This volume is getting a bit higher though, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe 230 is a little too aggressive because of this volume. Well, no, but this volume was lighter. Yeah, probably around 225, 230. Could be a dead cat bounce opportunity here. NLV, I mean, having really strong resolution on that break of 150, though. Right. It hasn't been an instantaneous squeeze, but we've had several minute candles now where it's going up 5 to 10 cents. Well, probably about 5 cents average. Like, this is actually almost worth thinking about. But I'm afraid I'm too late to the move if I try and buy here. Right? It was slow during this initial curl. It's speeding up now, but it's so late into the move. I'm afraid to get involved with it. Might seem crazy, but I'm actually much more interested in CJet for a dead cat bounce play. Good morning, John Tinner. Have a good weekend, it looks like, if you slept in. Did you miss a good morning? Honestly, this morning was pretty good. I was able to get some good trades on it. We had some pretty good moves this morning. Had two 50% movers. Definitely warmer than it's been the last week. But I wouldn't call it hot either. It definitely wasn't hot. We have ENLV currently moving, but I'm not really interested in it at the moment. Not really. It's playing with Weeble scripts all night. Let's see. I messed around a bit with Thinkorswim scripts, but I never really got super involved with it. Yeah, this might just be the bounce here. I wanted to wait, get a little bit safer of an entry around like 230, 225. I thought that would have given a higher probability of a bounce. It might just bounce here. Random Tan Captain. Which city do you to live in? Are you on the East Coast? Oh yeah, I'm on the East Coast. I live in Pennsylvania. I don't know if I want to go any more detailed than that, though. So I'll just leave it at Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's a bit unfortunate. I was very optimistic with how this morning was turning out, but I'm not seeing anything that's high enough quality to where I want to engage with it. ENLV clearly gave a bigger move than I was anticipating. But even if I had participated, a lot of this move was very slow. And what I was worried would be the case, which is that I would have probably had to have had high exposure to this stock. Does Weeble daily chart show pre-market price action? I mean, daily charts, like one-day charts, don't. I don't think any charts that are daily charts don't. If you're talking intraday, so like a minute chart or an hour chart, yeah, you can see pre-market action with that. Yeah, you can even toggle it on and off if you want. They have a feature that lets you do that. Yeah, I don't regret not engaging with this either. Even if this breaks out, we're going to see like a move to like 130 or 135. It's like a 10-cent move, 15-cent move. Yeah, this is, I'm just not really seeing anything to look at. We got 15 minutes till the top of the hour. When 9 o'clock comes, I'll stay around for 5 minutes, see if we see anything worth trading. And if we don't see anything, I'm going to bounce at 9. If you're watching the stream here and you like what you saw here, you want to see more of it, I do stream every day, so maybe consider subscribing. Yeah, Gail's kind of selling off a bit here. Yeah, I'm just not. It's moving too slow anyway. This is just one I don't want to be involved with. A-Ton's continuing to sell off here. So it's given back nearly the entire move at this point. Not really good because this gives short sellers confidence going forward. C-Jet's holding up a little bit better, but it is still on its back leg. Right, we're at the lows of this range. And honestly, ENLV could just be detracting momentum from this. You add it again at 180, and you average 166. Good luck holding it. Man, I'm getting sleepy just watching this. It's so boring. So we're seeing some pressure to this 230 level, 238. My initial buy was around 230, 225, but I'm worried because of this consolidation that might be less valid now. Well, Flip-Flop has a couple things going in his favor. It is a higher float. And it is, like, even though the volume's higher, but the fact that it's a lower price means that the volume isn't as impactful. With that said, it being the leading gapper, and it having news that historically has given very big moves, the private placement catalyst hasn't been doing well lately, but we did see around 2 months ago that private placement was giving very, very big moves. So, yeah, I personally think it's a bit dangerous to be shorting something like that. But at the same time, like, I don't short anymore, so I don't really think my opinions are too impactful or too relevant. But yeah, my initial interpretation is just that it's dangerous to short something like that. But you know you. Like Litstar said, just be mindful of your strategy. Your volume has dried up quite a bit. We're still seeing some inflow, though. Even on these more dead candles, we're still seeing like almost 10,000 volume. So I wouldn't truly call it dead yet, but it's definitely much, much reduced. Yep, you ready for a squeeze? Located plenty. I'm actually hoping this tries to squeeze so I can get some more size on it. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, to be fair, like, I genuinely didn't think that it had high odds of going above 150, but I mean, it has, so there you go. I mean, it was under $1 just an hour ago. So the fact that it's over 170 within an hour, it's a pretty big move. It's rough too, because like from my perspective, I want to see stocks spiking and holding. So it's not that I want shorts to fail, but it's just that for bullish context to return and for momentum to pick back up, it's almost like shorts have to fail. So there is a conflict of interest in that way. So like, I'm rooting for you, but at the same time, I do want the stock to keep going up. Or not even just go up. I want the stock just to hold. Because to me, that would increase bullishness for other traders. Check back for on Discord later for when and where I close if interested. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested. I'm always interested. Seeing other people's strategies to me, just how other people are interpreting the same trade, I think that's always very fascinating. For sure. Yeah, it seems like we've mostly cooled down at this point. The only stock that's really moving is ENLV and GELS, and both of them are penny stocks that are moving quite slowly. Right, like this is really good volume, but even for over 1 million volume, this is like moving 5 cents. Like, where's the opportunity? And ENLV, even though it's continuing up, this has been mostly just grind. You really only had probably this opportunity and this opportunity. Everything else was just a grind. That was a Discord plug? Yeah. I was wondering if that was a Discord plug or not. Hold on. Let me... Go ahead and... I'll just go ahead and plug it here. Give me 1 sec. I'll turn this back on. Yeah, we got to get more people in the Discord server. If you guys are interested in seeing anything Discord related, whether it's trades or just my recap or my thoughts, you can go ahead and check out the Discord there. It's free. I don't sell any services. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check it out. You have to buy these off the 9 and 20 to capture 10 cents, 15 cents max. Yeah. And you have to have perfect entry and exit to capture the full 10 cents. Yeah, no, it's incredibly difficult. And so, like, normally what I would do, so if I were to trade this, and same thing with Gale, I would probably take 200 shares because I would double size because I'm expecting the stock to move half as much. And that's fine. I'm not really super worried about a rug pull on a stock that's super cheap and super high float. But what I am worried about is the commissions, right? Because I'm buying with double the size, and on top of that, I'm crossing the spread, right? So you consider the spread crossing, you're losing 1 penny of slippage both ways. So you're losing 2 cents per share. And then with commissions, you're losing like another $1.50. So I'm down 3.5 cents per share just to take the trade on this. And if the max you can capture is 10 cents, and that's if you're right, like, to me, you're fighting a very, very uphill battle. Now, if stocks are moving like this all the time and they're resolving well all the time, I think there's more justification. But, I mean, we're in a cold market, and I'm, like, resorting to trading this. That doesn't seem like a good strategy. That actually seems more like I'm just FOMOing. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Litstar. Totally agree. I mean, it's gone up. I'm very impressed with the move, but especially for someone like me who's doing commission broker trading, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But yeah, we have 3 minutes till the top of the hour. We'll see if we get any new stocks in play. Hopefully we get something. But if not, we just got to accept that. Yeah, this one's just slowly grinding higher as well. You got to imagine anyone who's a market maker on this must be having a field day, right? A million shares of volume and the thing moves 5 cents. Just think about how much of that spread you captured. It's probably a market maker dream. So crazy. Just, I mean, just even looking at this, the fact I still only took 2 trades today, it's... I really got bait and switched. I genuinely thought, considering the time I took the first 2 trades, I genuinely thought today was going to be a good day. I mean, it was a good day. It still is a good day. But I was really starting to shift perspective and think it could have been a great day. You're really hoping I'd continue past $2? You just can't ever predict this stuff. Yeah, definitely. You can't ever predict the tops. That's like one of... Like, I feel like for a short seller, predicting the top is always the hardest thing. Because, I mean, you have tremendous reward if you predict the top. That's part of why it's so difficult to predict it. Yeah, we're at the top of the hour. I'll give it 5 minutes starting now. We'll see if we get anything worth trading. Not really seeing anything yet. Give it a couple more minutes here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. So, well, it is what it is, but I'm gonna call it here, I think. I don't see anything else worth looking at. Looks like the 9 o'clock news was a bust. So yeah, only 2 trades today. Took them very early on in the session. Didn't really see any really good opportunity after that. We had stocks like Gels moving, we had ENLV moving, but they were higher float stocks, they were lower price stocks. They weren't really what I was looking for, and I just didn't think they were worth trading. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. I'll go ahead and do the recap here and report back later. You guys have a good rest of your day. If you're going to keep trading,